This presentation today will walk you through our program's supplemental curriculum, Gikinawaabi. The cover photo for the curriculum was provided to us by Deb Pine. It is of her grandmother, Mammy, and her daughter, Lizzie, as she learns to make ash baskets by observing. The curriculum is pronounced Gikinawaabi. It means to learn by observing. Traditionally, our children have always been encouraged to learn about our world through respectful observation. The artwork that is featured throughout the curriculum was created specially for this project by Eva Oldman. She is the owner of Creative Graphics by Eva and is a member of the Little Traverse Bay Bands of Ottawa Indians. Gikinawaabi has a long history. When we chose to implement family spirit as a model, they did not have enough material that supported families with children ages 3 to 5. Through reflection and reporting, we know that our children have gaps when entering kindergarten and Head Start in emergent literacy and numeracy. We needed to come up with something that worked in a home-based education structure that was intended to be delivered by nurses, social workers, and family health educators. We worked with multiple partners and created a supplemental curriculum that met the needs of our program and communities, that is centered in our way of life and translates to work within the requirements of our federally funded program. We are now on the third edition of Gikinawaabi. It has been expanded from the 13 original lessons to now include 22 lessons. There has been a lot of thought in the way that this curriculum has been laid out. Starting out with the color at the top of each lesson, this notes the type of lesson. Each lesson subject has its own color. Literacy is pink, math is blue, language lessons are in green, and healthy living are identified by yellow. The lesson objective states the purpose for providing the lesson. It notes what the family or child should be working toward as a result of the lesson. Each lesson has a medicine wheel wisdom section. It helps connect our lessons to our way of life. These are teachings that were given in a good way to share with our families who receive this curriculum support. The family outcomes are connected to the parenting observation tool we utilize in our program called the Piccolo. In helping the family practice these outcomes in each lesson, you will be able to observe them when performing the Piccolo parent observation, as well as build strong and intentional parent-child interactions. The child behavior outcomes come from the preschool readiness assessment, the Lollipop. In practicing these outcomes with the child, it will help them to develop skills assessed on the Lollipop, which will additionally help prepare them for school. When you are preparing to provide a lesson to a family, you will want to take special note of the home visitor lesson overview. This section provides you guidance on what you will need to prepare for the lesson activities, and any additional leave-behind materials that you will need to print or prepare. Then you will see the actual lesson content. You will follow these steps when providing the lesson to the family. Each lesson has special tips that are noted by this feather icon. They are shared and highlighted for the family. The lesson wrap-up walks you through how to bring the lesson to a close and any follow-up that might be needed. Each lesson has an accompanying activity. Some lessons have more. The lesson activities can be used in multiple ways. You may bring it just for your reference. You may bring an extra copy for the family to have that you can leave with them, or maybe you bring it for an older sibling that you know will be at a visit for a younger client. Some lessons have more than one activity. These offer a wide variety of skill levels to meet the child where they're at. You can choose to do one activity or both with the family. You can also choose to do one activity and leave the other with the family. If you do this, make sure to print out a copy of the activity, all of the activity materials, and leave them with the family. This page notes additional handouts that are included in the lesson that you will need to bring with you. You will notice that each handout has the accompanying lesson in the lower corner, except for tip sheets, since those are used so frequently throughout the curriculum. This additional handout here is used in Lesson 7. Throughout the curriculum, you will notice all the additional handouts. I just wanted to note that the colors do not have a specific purpose. They are just colorful. It is important to go into each visit as prepared as possible. When planning your visit, you will want to take a look back at the family's lesson history and review the last lesson that was provided to them. As the home visitor, you should review all the lesson materials. Be sure to print and prepare any additional materials you may need. Gather any handouts that accompany the lesson. Noting again to pay close attention to the home visitor overview section in the lesson. This will be helpful. Some lessons require additional materials. Keep these in mind as you're planning out your lessons and thinking about purchasing these additional materials with funds you may have left in your budget. Some lessons have additional material options that are not mandatory but would be helpful. Gikinawaabi lessons are meant to be delivered similar to the way you would provide a family spirit lesson. The main difference is Gikinawaabi lessons are able to be flexible. You can use the lessons, handouts, tip sheets, and activities in ways that work for you in your home visiting practice. You may also use them to help meet the needs of your program. Some examples of this may include providing these handouts at an information table, bringing them along for older siblings, providing them at a playgroup, group lessons, or more. Gikinawaabi does not need to be delivered in sequential order. However, the lessons do require more skill as you get further into the curriculum supplement. Take the child's developmental needs into account as you plan your lessons and choose your activities. The only exception are lesson 14 and 15. Those need to be delivered in order. Again, lesson visit structure is very similar to the way that family spirit lessons are delivered. You will start with a warm-up, check on referrals you have made and other activities, review the last lesson that was covered with the family, cover all of the lesson content, do the activities and tasks together with the participant, explain any additional activities that you are leaving with the family, have the participant summarize the main points of the lesson, discuss and answer questions the client may have, inquire about culture and traditions, make any referrals needed, set the next visit time and date, and complete any additional paperwork. The warm-up should last about 5 minutes. You will greet the participant, check in with them, encourage any questions they may have, or help the participant solve any pressing challenges. You will then check on referrals and activities, check on any previous referrals and follow up, provide help for obstacles, ask the participant to describe their experience. This may help you when making referrals to other clients. Review the last lesson, ask the participant was covered in the last lesson, and help fill in any missing information. Cover all lesson content. You will cover the main points of the lesson and expand and discuss more in depth with the participant. Do activities and tasks together. Explain the activities. You'll complete all the chosen activities with the family. You may have additional ones to leave behind, and you will want to explain those at this point too. Summarize the main points of the lesson. You will ask the participant to summarize all the main points, adding comments and clarification where necessary. Discuss and answer questions. Inquire about any remaining questions your client may have. Answer them to the best of your ability. You may have to take notes and get back to the family at a later time if needed. Inquire about culture and traditions. You will inquire about any cultural knowledge the family would like to share around the lesson, or if they have any traditions that they would like to share with you. Make referrals. If there are any referrals to make for upcoming events, developmental referrals, or family wellness, you can provide that information at this point in the visit. Set the next time and date. It is important to set up the next appointment date and time or meeting place before you leave. You can give the participant a written reminder of the next appointment if it is helpful. Complete any other paperwork. Provide any other papers noted for the family, and you will need to complete any forms that you need as well. It is important to know where you can find the curriculum supplement. Each site should have its own 3-ring binder that includes each lesson in paper form. Or it can be found digitally on the ITC website. It is under the Maternal and Early Childhood Services Department. You will go to Staff Resources all the way at the bottom of the page and enter the password Home Visiting, one word, all lowercase. There you will see a tab just for Gikinawaabi. This is what it will look like once you click on it. You will notice a drop down for each lesson. You'll notice some lessons have 2 versions. Most of the differences are in the language and vocabulary words that are offered. You can see this in the example of Lesson 3. Other differences vary in teachings, such as around the 13 moons. If there is only one lesson attached, it is intended to be the same lesson for everyone. We can see this in Lesson 1, for example. Once you download the lesson PDF, everything you need for the lesson should be included, except for physical tools you'll need, like crayons, pencils, scissors, etc. It is important to document your delivery of Gikinawaabi in the database, especially if you deliver lessons 19 through 22, which are the safety lessons. Gikinawaabi can be found on the infant and child client type. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We are happy to help.